In this lesson, we're going to detach the front lens of the headlight. We're going to add a little, it's almost like a license plate that goes in front of these brackets here. So let's get started. Left viewport again. And right here, you'll see this little blue rectangle. That's where we're going to create this little license plate type thing. So we're actually going to go front viewport. And you see that the front is actually the rear. So if you come over here, click on front, let's pick back. Shift and B is a hotkey that I set for that, just so you know you can set your hotkeys. And I do use that back viewport a lot, or different different areas that I want to see. I set hotkeys for right because left is only listed. You can do that in your preferences. So we're going to come in here, and once again we'll go to Create Panel. We're going to use a spline, rectangle. And I'm just going to estimate that the little license plate is about the width of the headlight. F3 so I can see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to let go, and now what I'm going to do is with a rectangle we have a corner radius value, so I'm going to turn that up a little bit. And from what I've seen, they look like this. They have a sort of rounded corner. It's almost like a plaque, an old style plaque. Okay, it's back a little bit from the front of the train, so in the perspective viewport I'm just going to pull it forward approximately to where it should be. F3 so I can see again. And then nudge that back a little bit. And you can convert it to an editable spline. Right click and you'll have a list, editable spline. And above that, instead of doing extrusion this time, let's try something different, bevel. And you see I have like a flat little shape right now. Well, if we come down here, we have these different options for bevel. So the first one, we'll do a little height. You see it gives a little height to it. The value looks a little high. I'm going to make that half that, 0.25. And then we'll add a check mark for level 2. Let's do 0.25 again. And then the cool thing here is we have this outline value. So if we click that, you can see it makes like a bevel. We can go in or out. I want to go in, just like that. Gives it like that, I don't know, looks like it's a brass kind of plate or something. So I'm going to keep that. Above the bevel, we're going to add an edit poly. I'm going to select polygon. This polygon, the front face. What we're going to do is we're going to inset it, and then we're going to shift it back a little. It's kind of like the plate would be embossed with some lettering or something. So we're going to inset, roll that value just a little, not as much as I just did. There we go. That's 0.203. That looks good. And then we're going to do an extrusion, and we want to go in a negative value. Turn it around so you can get a better shot of what's going on. I like that. Check mark for OK. And let's take a look. F4 to turn that off. That looks pretty good. It's where it should be. It's probably about the right thickness. You can always change that. And I'm going to just name that now. We'll call it front ID tag -01. And let's save our file. It's important to save often. I've been saving as I go, even if I don't tell you. So every 5 minutes or so, save your file. Okay, let's do this. Let's select the headlight, Alt and Q to isolate it, F4 so we can see the wireframe. Okay, let's just come down to this edit poly. You can see the little pinhole in the middle from when we lathed it earlier. We're going to go to vertex. What I'm going to do is F3. I'm going to select this group of vertices right here. I'm going to collapse them down with collapse. Okay, that was effective. And looks good. Now what we're going to do is F4. I'm going to go to polygon subobject level, and I'm going to select these polygons, all the front facing polygons that make up that lens area. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to select, and instead of using a rectangle, I'm going to use the spray can, which is really good, kind of interactive. And now we are actually going to turn on ignore back facing so that we don't get anything we don't want. And what I'm going to do is make sure you use select rather than move. I'm going to just roll that brush around. Okay, and F3, we make sure, see, sometimes you do get some back facing, even though it's checked. So now I don't have any. Rather than keep painting, I'm going to use the grow, which is found right here below selection. We can grow the selection. So click, click, click. Keep going until you reach the edge. We're at the edge right now. And what we're going to do is, let's detach. detach to a new object, so we don't select element, and we're going to call that headlight underscore lens dash 01. Okay. And now we're going to select that, and we're going to go to Effect Pivot, Center to Object. That's done. So now, later on in the process, we're going to have the headlight and the lens be separate objects. This will be some sort of glass. This will be the metal. So they're separated. They're named properly. And let's unhide everything by exit isolation. F4 so we can see what's going on. Looks very good. We have the number plate. We have the headlight. So now in the next lesson, I'm going to add some of the small pieces that go around the headlight, and we're going to pick up with that in the next video. So I'm going to pause right now.